are just joining us, please do take your seats. I'm handing over to Mr. G. Chandrasekhar to take the session forward, sir.
All right. Good morning. Awesome, that's right. You're all awake. Thank you very much. I hope you had a great evening. Okay, all right. We are discussing warehousing, logistics, and the role of technology in this. And as all of us know, warehousing and logistics sector drives economic growth. If you have fairly decent logistics sector and warehousing sector, obviously it will accelerate economic growth, which is very important. These days, in the last few years, technology started to play a very significant role in driving the growth of the warehousing and logistics sector. Whether it is AI or whether it's IoT and digitization, automation, I'm sorry, all this is driving, accelerating the growth of warehousing and logistics sector, extraordinarily important for every single economy in this world. And more importantly, it's so critical for countries which are dependent on either import or export. And therefore, this session, oh, sorry, my apologies, assumes a greater importance. We need to discuss. I'll very briefly touch upon what's happening in India, but I would like each one of the panelists, I don't have specific questions. You know what the topic is, and I want you to dwell on the topic from your perspective. How do you perceive the role of technology in warehousing and logistics? If you're going to talk about Africa, what are those challenges that Africa faces in developing the logistics and warehousing sector? And how do you propose to integrate technology with the logistics and warehousing sector? Because this sector is at the integration, at the intersection of markets, of demand, of technology, and of course of investment. And therefore that intersection becomes extremely important. So with these opening remarks, I want to, and we don't have enough time. We are already, how many? We are 7. I've already consumed 3 minutes. Each one of us will have about between 4 and 5 minutes. Therefore, may I, gentlemen, start with you? Kindly share your thoughts on warehousing, logistics sector, role of technology, and how do you, I would like you to share your thoughts with the audience on how do you address the challenges arising out of inadequacies in warehousing and logistics.
Hello. Yes. I want to say at first we can start from the storage system, the food sustainability, food security. The storage system is very important. In the world, in America, Europe, and Canada, there was a licensed storage system. The licensed storage system, the technology warehousing system, the private sector have to make a investment, the area capacity. And then the first leg. Second leg, the classifying the product is so important, A class, C class, B class. Because of this, you need quite control systems, and you have to make classification over there. The main important things for analyzing grain, pulses, and oilseeds, at first you can start from the sampling and moisture rate, protein amount, cellulose amount, starch amount, and the oil amount, the main analyzing over there, and hectoliter, of course, the density of the grains, oilseed, and pulses. You have to set your grains to the modern storage system and classification. Why? The other hand, all the farmers would like to sell their products at the same time. And the raw material price became down. Because of this, if the farmer don't earn money, how they produce more? The system gives advantages to the farmer. Also, the trader, also the small trader, everybody haven't got a modern storage system. Because of this, this system give advantages farmers and also traders. Some government also support farmers and traders because for renting the modern storage system. And if you a member of this system, licensed storage system, you don't need so much logistic. For example, if you want to buy wheat, you live in Delhi, for example. In Mumbai, there is a A-class product. You were there. In Delhi, also you have got a factory. You can say, I have got a wheat A-class, but I want to take from the Delhi storage. You can do that. You can sit on the table. There is no any truck. There is no any logistic. Because all the countries earn money from the system. Because of the advice, you have to manage licensed storage system all the countries. Because logistic problem can be down. Everybody set the product, food security, food safety, food sustainability, the modern storage system. Everybody can earn money. It's so important for the economy. What are we doing? We are the Bastak Laboratory Instrument Company. We produce all quality control instrument, the systems. We produce 54 kind of laboratory instrument and we export 162 different countries. We have got more than 20,000 laboratory instruments all over the world. We start from the sampling, 100% representative sampling from truck, because there is a sampler. You cannot take a sample with your hands, with a cup, with a hand tip sample. It is impossible because the oils, legumes, and the grains, it's so hard. How can you set to dip off the truck with your hands? How can you climb? Also, you can be some accident. If you can fall down from the truck, you can be passed away. Because of this is so dangerous. In the world, nobody climbed the truck. In the future also in Delhi, in Tanzania, in Africa, nobody wants to climb the truck. Because of this, the modern system, you have to see all the level of the truck. You can stay in your table. On the screen, you can take sample comes to your laboratory. In the sample set, you can see centimeter by centimeter. What is the dip of the truck? What is the mid-level of the truck? What is the top of the truck? It is so important because at the beginning, if you like, you can reject, send out raw material, or you can accept. If you can accept, you can start to make classification. And then you can set the true storage and true product. In the Africa, Tanzania, in India, everywhere, you can see how many tons product, where are they? Delhi, Mumbai, in Tanzania, Zanzibar, or Dar es Salaam, something like that. You can buy in one function button, the digital system. It is very good, I think, for the storage and the logistic cost increasing every day, but food security is a big challenges. Also in the world, the water became every day less. Everybody, they try to think about it. Most of the countries' capacity is poor water. Because of this, we think, what will we grow on the field? In India, in the Far East, they produce a lot of rice. Also, we have to think about rice because rice need more water, fertilizer, some chemicals. Instead of rice, we can think about it, the wheat. The dry area, you can grow the wheat. I advise like this. Thank you very much, the chairman.
All right, thank you very much, I think, for sharing your thoughts on how important technology is in controlling and monitoring logistics movements. Very quickly, I want to mention over the last 4 years in India, and India is a very large country, as you know. It's a subcontinent, which is where we have seasonal nature of production and regional nature of production. And therefore, goods, agriculture commodities are produced in a particular season, but they are consumed throughout the year. Similarly, some agriculture commodities are produced in certain regions, but demand for that is across country. And that's exactly where warehousing and logistics becomes important for India, which is the same, obviously, I guess, for most of the African countries. Of course, there are 54 countries in Africa, and therefore I keep saying there are 54 different challenges. There is also something that we found over the last 4 years, quick commerce, third-party logistics. These are actually accelerating in India. I would like Nuru to talk about the challenges of the warehousing sector in Africa in general, possibly in Tanzania. How do you propose to overcome those challenges? And many of the countries are landlocked. So what do you do if you have to import or export? Currently, what is the status of warehousing here? And do you have any bright ideas to be given to your government?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nurman, Director of Lunar Trading and Logistics. I'll talk about a little bit about warehouse and logistics. When we talk about logistics, I'm very passionate on it because I believe it's a key sector when you come to agro commodities. Because without having transportation, you cannot transport goods from rural areas. Before contributing, I'll tell a short story on it. In late 19th, in Tanzania especially, people was using ox carts to transport goods from small farmers to meet their demands on markets weekly basis so that they can meet buyers, distributors, and everything. But right now, it's good. We have a good infrastructure in Tanzania, but some places, example in Hama where chickpeas are coming, pigeon peas are coming from Shinyanga, there is a place where you cannot reach well. We need the government to at least improve infrastructure to that area. When we are talking about warehousing, especially in Dar es Salaam now, we don't have a very modernized warehouse to keep the goods. But mostly now we have come to a certain that we can use SA systems to control inventory and to mobilize. You can put a system. There is a system now to control the inventory like SAPs and everything which are coming from India. But everything is fine now, and I will not talk much on it, but it's fine. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Any thoughts on, is there any study or survey done here to ascertain the demand for warehousing and logistics services, say over the next 5 years or 10 years? Where is the funding going to come from if you have to expand your warehousing and logistics? Is there any study done?
Land is there. No issues about land. Land is there, and we can expand. No issues there. And funding is there. Banks are giving us funds and everything. We don't have any issues. And most of warehouses now we are building. We are bringing fabricated warehouses from China, and it's working well. You don't need to use bricks on making warehouses anymore.
All right. Thank you. I'll go to Amit Basal from Star Agri, and as all of us know, Star Agri is a large player in India. Star Agri also has presence in several African countries into warehousing and logistics, etc. Amit, in India we find more and more of warehousing space is being created in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. obviously where land costs are lower, construction cost will be lower, possibly closer to either a production center or closer to a market. That's the movement that's happening. What are your thoughts on the future of this movement of warehousing space from tier 1 cities, which are expensive, to tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India? And how do you foresee business prospects in rural areas in particular, or tier 2 and tier 3 cities? Do you have presence in India today in tier 2 and tier 3 cities? Is your occupancy high? Is it growing? Some thoughts on that?
Yeah, good morning everyone. Amit Bansal this side. Thank you, Jis sir. So, as Star Agri has started in 2006, in 19 years, we reached to the position now handling around 4.5 to 5 million ton of the physical stocks in our custody throughout the year. And we are on those stocks, we are disbursing around 2 to 2.5 million USD right now. So this number shows this answer of your question, that because this tier 2 and tier 3 cities expansion in those areas, these numbers could be achieved. Usually 2.5 to 3 million ton of the stocks usually we are handling from last 5 to 7 years, but from last post-COVID area, you will see that this tremendous growth in the warehousing sector. Because at the origination, obviously any of the industry guys want to are either on the origin or at their plant locations. So, or at plant locations, most of the industries are going with the silos because they are much economical, or you can say less space is required. A lot of benefits of the silos. But at the origin of this, because at the harvesting time, there is a huge pressure of the stocks. So logistics are going to be costly. To safeguard costs, they are storing at the origin, and same thing, the land cost is going to be high, construction cost is going to be high, so people are moving towards the origination, or you can say where harvest is going on. So that's the reason. And from last 2 years, if you'll see, yes, I also talked about that, that is huge scarcity at the time of harvesting is coming, especially in wheat, maize. Right now, UP, maize crop is there, but space is not available. So that's the opportunity. People are creating new spaces, and that come with the technology also, because new structures are equipped with you can say CCTVs, better infra, less pilferages that safeguard the food grains. So as a Star Agri has his own software of aggregate, so that also providing the best technology services to their customers, real-time info, real-time, they can check the health of their commodities, they can check the stocks. So a lot of things has saved, expenses has saved by the technology. And we have expanded to Africa from last 2 years. In East Africa, in Tanzania, Zambia and Uganda, and West Africa, Nigeria, we have the presence, and we are expanding our warehousing services with the collateral management services in Africa as well. We are in touch with the local banks who are providing these CM services, collateral management loans to the WHR loans to local customers. So that will give boost to the ourselves as well as Indian buyers who want to store, because there is a 45 to 60 days time of the harvesting. So logistic is a bit challenged. Last year, huge congestion was there at the port. So they want to store at the origin, and they will take the material as the vessels and containers available. So that will help them to store in the Africa, and there is a good scope for all overseas buyers to take these services in Africa from Star Agri. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Therefore, your belief is there is a great opportunity for warehousing companies in India to come to Africa and do business here, be a part of the African growth story.
Yes, sir. Actually, being a localite from India, everybody knows Star Agri, so they have the comfort. If they're putting their stock in Star Agri custody in other continents, so they are much more feeling comfortable.
Right.
And parallelly, we are with the local banks, so that CM services we will more boost up to them.
You also run a NBFC in India. Any plan to start an NBFC here to fund whatever cargo is warehoused?
I don't think so right now, sir. We are in
All
touch
right.
with local banks that will be more helpful and
Understood.
most effective to the buyers.
All right, and I appreciate what very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. Laboratory services are extraordinarily important in the agri-business space. Primarily, when we talk of warehousing, logistics, laboratory services are an integral part of the system, because a laboratory service is a service of trust, and which is where Dr. Nilesh comes from. Doctor, what are the latest developments in testing equipment? You're free to say, you share your thought, but I want to understand from you. I'm sure the House wants to understand from you. What are the new techniques and technologies and systems available? I remember years ago we had liquid chromatography, HPLC, TLC, ELISA, NIR, all that. But my memory is at least 20 years old, 25 years old. Okay, are there new developments? Are there more precision equipments? How soon are you able to issue the test results? Do you do sampling yourself, or sampling is done by somebody? Which is the sampling technique that you adopt? Can you take us through this? Number one. Number two, any plans for Africa? Are you present in Africa? What are the challenges? Yeah.
I think you just saw my notes. The thoughts have actually matched. This is what I was going to speak. So good afternoon.
This was a common sense question. But
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Sir, for this interesting questions and thought-provoking points that you have put across. So just to give you a brief, we are a testing laboratory in India, 45 years old, more than 200 people working, scientists working in our organization, doing day in, day out agri commodities plus processed food analytical testing services for export as well as for import. We are authorized by the Government of India to the import as well as the export testing services like APIDA, FSSAI, BIS, EIC, EIA, Export Inspection Agency Council, and of course recognized or accredited by ISO 17025 NABL, which helps us, our reports, to be accepted all over the world in 190 plus countries as a part of the mutual recognition agreement between India and the countries that are signatory to the ISO standards. So with this short introduction, I would go to the points which our chairman sir just now raised, is the technology that is used in the laboratory. And before I go to the technology, I would also like to say over here is that many of the food business operators or the exporters or the traders think that lab is an additional burden or an additional expense for them. And I would say that it is primarily an investment for these traders or the exporters, importers, the food business operators, because this is like a sort of a health check for your products. As you do your health checkups, blood and urine samples tested once in a year after you have crossed 40, so your health is maintained, or at least you are aware of your health concerns. Same way, the laboratory testing actually helps you to really understand what is the health concern or the status of your products that are either stored in the warehouses or in the retail or in your whole of the supply chain. So consider the laboratory not as an expense but as an investment in your brand. That is point number one. And second is, laboratories are your doctors, your family doctors. They actually tell you the status of your health of your product. So due importance and significance has to be given, not because it's a documentation that is required as a bill of lading or bill of shipping, that okay, this document has to be there when it is being transported. Now second point which Chairman Son asked is about the technology part. So the basic chemistry or the basic microbiology, molecular biology remains the same, but what has developed in last 20-25 years is a very high-end detection systems. So earlier the pesticide residues were in form of ppm. Now today it has gone to sub ppb and ppt levels. the MRLs that are being prescribed by European Union or by US FDA, USDA, likewise by the African government or governments or the Indian governments. It is very important over here to not only test these molecules at sub ppb ppt levels, but there are new molecules coming into picture. So earlier it used to be only pesticide, now it is persistent organic pollutants. So PFAS, something called as forever chemicals, are being found in the food products, in the agri commodities. And in fact, just to tell all of you that the PFAS, the perfluoroalkyl substances, still it is not a regulation mandated, but it is soon going to come. It has been mandated in European Union. It is found in every person's blood serum in America. And it has been found in the rivers of Amazon, where no man has ever gone into those rivers, streams, and in those natures. It has been, so there are around 30,000 such chemicals, and out of which 8 have been found to be potentially carcinogenic. And this is where the lab's role comes, is to identify whether these pollutants or these contaminants, persistent organic pollutants, are part of your system. Laboratory is not a simple thing. It's like a hospital. It's a very, very heavy on capex. For example, our laboratory, sir, has invested more than 50 crore rupees in the sophisticated instrumentation, and the new technologies come every year because of the new MRLs that are coming up in place. So it's not a very simple thing. It's bit complicated, but our scientists are taking due care of it. As far as expansion in Africa is concerned, I guess there is lot of hand-holding which would be required to be done between India and Africa, because Africa, I'm sure, would believe more on the Indian technologies and the Indian people as such, rather than depending heavily across other countries. So because India and Africa has a long history of working together. And that is, I just mentioned that in the first day session, also the inaugural session, where sustainability and security, how laboratories can, or Indian laboratories can do hand-holding with the African government, African companies, where we can do the training as well as awareness about what are the new technologies that are available. In logistics, sir, sample transportation, I have something which the organizers can really put this across to the government. Is currently we are doing a lot of samples from Africa, and it takes huge amount of time when it comes into customs. So if at all there is a green channel for samples being shipped across from Africa to India, it would be a great boon for the African companies, African governments, African people, that they will be able to have the samples tested within shortest possible time, within 24, 48, 72 hours. But this custom clearance, I think, is some bottleneck. And I request the organizers, if they can put this across to government, that there has to be a green channel for specific samples. And lastly, in the warehousing part of it, just a second for me to complete the thing, is sensory and AI-based predictive monitoring and QR code is becoming a very big game altogether. Our reports carry the QR code, so you don't have to necessarily carry reports everywhere, even when you are transporting things from one warehouse to another or during your supply chain. The QR code on the product can immediately give you the analytical results of the laboratory, which we actually provide it to our customers. So this is something which is use of technology, and use of sensor-based AI, predictive technologies can be done in warehousing and logistics. So this is from my side. Thank you very much, sir.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad. Just one quick question for my knowledge. Microplastics, how are you able to identify? Do you have any suggestion to eliminate?
Eliminating microplastics is now next to impossible, sir. But the technologies are in place now to analyze or detect microplastics. It is based on FTIR microscope based testing work, and everything is having even this bottle is having microplastics, and this is a very serious concern when it comes to future generations, when it comes to sustainability and food safety.
Agree. Point taken. Yeah. Very quickly, because movement of samples from Africa to India for you to test takes time. shouldn't you be thinking of opening a laboratory here? One sec. I'm saying because one, of course, it will call for investment, etc. All that. That's a commercial call you need to take. Under the WTO, there is something called a principle equivalence, which is that there is a standard set of sampling procedure, the standard equipment that are prescribed, a technology that's prescribed, and a standard training program for the technicians to adopt in those laboratories. If your laboratory in India meets those global standards, then your certificate should be valid across the world. Nobody can challenge.
Yes.
Often we know Indian certificates are challenged in Europe, etc. But if you have, if your sampling technique, equipments, and the technician qualification falls within that framework, nobody can legally challenge the validity of your certificate. And therefore, given this, should it not be logical for you to actually start a branch here, for example, in Tanzania? I know it's easier said than done, but think about it.
No, very good question, sir. And to answer this, I would say many of the countries across the world are, I don't know why they are fascinated with Europe. There is nothing in Europe, actually. Sorry to say this on a platform. But I'm a very proud Indian and a very proud Indian laboratory that we are far, far better than any European laboratory. There are few laboratory people or European labs sitting over here. But unfortunately, we have this, and then there is some specific trade barrier that is, I have seen over many years, is if you want to sell in Europe, you better test it from European laboratory. I think this is something which is a trade barrier, and believe me, if this continues, it is going to hamper the exporters from India or exporters from Africa. We need to be independent of European laboratories very, very clearly, and I believe that very strongly, because we are using everything that is from all across the technologies that are used to detect are across the globe. They are all standard protocols developed by Indian scientists as well as the European or the American scientists, and the reports are valid. So last point over here is that your point of putting a laboratory in Africa. So we did some study for last 2 years, and right now I think it is slightly difficult because of the infrastructure and the people availability in Africa. But having said this, if the government of Africa, any country or any of the big organizations over here are ready to invest, we have a cookbook which talks about the layouts, which talks about which instruments, equipments, and which protocols, the training modules are ready. We have cookbook, and it can be rolled out within a year's time for anybody who wants to take it up.
Quick tip for you, talk to ITC, International Trade, what is that? ITC is in Geneva, which is a collaboration between United Nations and World Trade Organization, okay? International Trade Center. I used to be a consultant for them, but in the last 2 or 3 years, I've given it up. They would potentially be interested. When we're looking at funding. The second one, talk to African Development Bank. They will be interested.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm in touch with them.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me go to Hiten. Hiten is in shipping business. Shipping is the logistics movement on water is as important as a movement on rail or air or on the road. Hiten, what are the challenges that you face in your shipping industry, and how do you propose to overcome, and particularly with reference to trade between Africa and India?
Hello. Yeah, good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. And so coming back to the question, the most important thing to realize is that the shipping business is one of probably the easiest and the complex business, so to say, because it reacts to the global scenario very quickly. Uh, and that's one of the reasons why, big shippers, they're always, who want to do business only in containers, they're always, jammed spaces. They really do, if they can do probably 1,000 containers in a span of, let's 2-3 months, they're only able to get 400 or 500 or 300 containers. And that's one of the challenges that keep happening during most of the shipping time, because shipping lines after Corona have realized that the lesser the equipments that they offer or availability is the more freight that they can make, because there've been times before Corona in time they've not made money, and then after that every quarter they're making money. So it's very difficult for them to now go back and think about the world trade per se. And then most of it then falls on trying to manage everything in the resources that you have. Within that, a lot of times your containers get stuck at transshipment ports, which I then realize the trades that happen, they are because somebody is thought that the cargo will come to him, let's say in 30 days, and it's been 45, 50 days and the cargo is still at the transit port. And then the importer and the importer both are fighting because exporter has been right on the contractual terms. He's already loaded the cargo, but the importer said, now the market is not in my favor. Why should I take the cargo? All of that keeps. So we were discussing this other day with a group of traders as well, that it's very important for people to understand even the exempt trade policies and what are the impacts of BL, and what when they then do the trade, what are they getting really into? Because even today I don't realize a lot of people don't understand the importance of CNF also. Many importers don't want to take insurance. That's one of the very funny part of being in the international trade, and you still feeling that insurance is not required for these kind of trades. So all of that keeps coming in. I like to actually take this to a different level. We are talking about technology in various aspects of logistics and warehousing. But if you look into in game, like if we talk about farmers at, let's say, an Afro location and a miller in India, both these are the ones who are actually making the product and consuming products technically. In the entire middle, there are people who are enablers and probably traders, brokers, and all of that. And the need of VDR is also collaboration on the services side for sure. Collaborate with expertise, and everybody do their part. Like for example, right from the procurement till it goes to the millers, there can be people who are financing, there can be people who are doing sampling, there can be people who are doing the insurance, and the people who are doing freight, the people who are doing clearing, the transport, warehousing, and then to the miller. And this coming under one obviously will require today's technology, which is vast available. I think people do talk about AI, but the time has come that we also start thinking as to how to apply these kind of technologies at the various levels wherever they are required. Some kind of predictive analysis so that we can probably have the right kind of storage at the right kind of spaces. The hub and spoke kind of models where you have a central system followed by a regional system, and then accordingly, know what kind of cargo or what quantity of cargo is required to be stored at what place at what time. So all of this then will reduce your cost, because economy of scale is it's kind of gravity, right? It's true. It's law of nature. So if you try and collaborate with technology and the way people who provide that services, then you probably definitely go wrong way. And this will help farmers, consumers, and everybody in the middle.
Thank you very much. One quick question. In 2020 and 2021, there was a huge dislocation of supply, including in the shipping services. Fortunately, that rebounded in 22 and 23. But again, it started to slow down in 24 with Mr. Trump in the White House now, with threat of tariffs, etc. There is a big looming of a further slowdown in global goods shipping, commodity shipping business. Is that fear real? And of course, China is slowing, as you know. So from that perspective, is there a possibility of freight rates falling? Again, given the fact that your crude oil prices, energy prices are soft, relatively soft at this point of time, and they are likely to remain soft. will freight rates fall? And a fall in freight rate, will it boost international trade or shipping business? Just thinking aloud. Yeah.
Yeah. So this might be my personal opinion, but after again like Corona, the shipping lines have seen through a pattern in which people want the containers and everything. So there is some kind of fear in the market due to any, and everybody wins. There have been times where no freight as for cargo from India to Dubai used to get about $30 or $50 rebate, but those days are long gone. So to answer the question, all the people in the industry realize when there is a genuine problem, and that's where definitely the demand supply and the freight goes up. But softening of freights will happen, but they'll not happen as people are expecting, or they'll not go to the golden days for sure.
Point taken. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Vikram usually has a last word. Okay. And I'm getting strong signals. Vikram, your thoughts on the role of technology and app that you have developed. Will you share your view with the participants? Please.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I really appreciate that. I believe that the technology is going to change everybody's life. And how that is going to change? If you have seen, our lifestyle has changed. Our most of pattern of living from the opening to the end, it is like going to change. And especially what we have developed for the agri commodities, that is an app which is called Agri Guru Online. Now, how this Agri Guru Online has came up, I'm in this industry more than 15 years. And what we have found, there were 3 problems which we always come across and we are not able to solve it. Like, first problem, what we are solving is a live price update for most of the agri commodities. Secondly, ocean freights, live ocean freights, we are updating on our app. Thirdly, we also have solved a documentation system, which is a smart document management system through different CMS and CRM and also different APIs. So why we are actually talking the terms of technology is now there are different technologies. There is a AI, there is a machine learning, there is a IoT, there is a different communications are coming with the different marketplace. Now what we are actually facing in this, as a trader or as a buyer or as a seller, you do not know what price in a which time you are going to get it. So in that, we have also solved with the technology that anybody who is in Africa, anybody who is in India, anybody is any part of the country, he can check anytime a live price for the commodities, for either rice, sugar, pulses or any. Even we have seen in the, especially for the freight. For the freight part, we normally actually, we do not get the freight immediately. If you ask any of the forwarder or any of the shipping line, you do not get immediately freight. So for that, we have also integrated different shipping line, MSC, Merck's, or different shipping lines and different platforms through the API that a collaborated algorithm works for our app, and it gives a standard freight that what is a freight from, let's see, Nava Seva to Dar es Salaam, what is a freight, then you can check just in a seconds. That's how the technology is going to change. Thirdly, we have solved the problem that is a smart documentation. If you see in export and import, so many documents we are creating from the contract to the last payment copy. Now, there are so many human errors are happening. On that, we are also solving with this documentation system that in just seconds, all the documents will be created once the contract has been done. No need to wait for the, or no need to ask the buyer, no need to say what instruction, what is. Once a finalized done, phyto, fumigation, quality certificate, weight certificate, every document will be immediately drafted and in just seconds you can download it. Now, as I said, these changes we are also getting. If you want to check the freight rate, you want to check the price, and we have also created AI a prediction model as well, which can, let's see, a rice price is for the 10 years. We have integrated a system with that the 10 years chart you can predict on just seconds. That is also we have created. That is also, secondly, we have also created, if any of the news, any of the information on your fingertip, you just get the notification immediately. As well as you get the changes, alters, like you can have an alert from your system, like a notification that if this price has changed as lower or the higher level. So these kind of technologies we are going to change, and of course it is going to connect the mostly the logistic, also the clearing agent or shipping or the surveyor inspection. Everybody is going to integrate it in this platform. So I would really appreciate that if you can log on this our app and you can check. It would be really useful for most of the referential price update or freight updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram. Awesome. I think this is a kind of technology infusion that global agribusiness needs, particularly emerging economies. We are getting strong signals. I need to conclude this, but half a minute, 1 minute each. Panelists, any closing thoughts? 1 or 2 sentences. Starting. In 1 minute, kind of wrap up your thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, it's working. I want to talk about also, Doctor talk about some quiet analyzing. I want to give the other information. In Turkey, the Bastak Laboratory Instrument Company, the biggest classifier company in Turkey. We have got 107 branch offices in Turkey, different city, different town. We classifying nearly 40% of Turkey. Nearly 4 million tons grain, legumes, and oilseed. We usually make nearly 350,000 tests per year capacity with 175 engineers. Because of this, we know the Turkish quality map. It is very important. In the system, also the government see all analyzing in Turkey at the same seconds in the digital system, in the center. Agricultural Ministry, there is a system. In the center, they can see how is our quality and how many tons product they have. It is a very good license storage system. The digital lack in the system is very important. We are classifying, we give support for analyzing. We are giving service to the farmers and trader laboratory services for analyzing. We are the most biggest in Turkey. Also, we are international accredited laboratory for analyzing.
Thank you.
In the system.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Amit, 1 minute. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hello. On technology front, AgriBazaar is a flagship product of Star Agri.
Yes.
So only thing I want to place here that AgriBazaar's numbers are everybody who is buying, selling in India. So they knows million of tons and billion of dollars trades happened in last 7 years on AgriBazaar. But I want to highlight the flagship product of AgriBazaar, that is the Agri Bhumi, from last 2.5 years. It's a tremendous product by satellite maize. We are using machine learning, remote sensing technology, and providing a lot of services of many of the state governments in India. And through those technology, we are helping. We are helping to farmers and the government institutions to get the proper soil health report, crop health report, and yield of the commodities. We are serving many of the organizations. They are using our services. And now, from last some times, we are doing this activity in Africa as well. We have done some pilot project in Uganda, and many of other countries are approaching to us. So that may be a game changer by the technology, because it's a huge land bank in Africa, and by using this Agri Bhumi product, many of the local authorities, farmers can be benefited, And that is the best part of Agri Bazaar, Star Agri, or you can say Agri Bhumi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit. Nuru, any concluding thoughts from your side? Want to share with the audience?
Hello, everyone. On part of logistics, I would like to say something. In Tanzania right now, we have rail, we have trucks, we have modern dry ports right now, and CFS. So you're most welcome to invest, to do exports, do import. We have DP World now is working on efficiency. We have TGHL in previous we called it TICS. Now ports is working in efficiency. So everyone, you're welcome to invest in Tanzania. There is no any problem. You're most welcome. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Each one is invited. Yep. Nilesh, any concluding thoughts?
I would say just 2 points. One is way forward for us is technology and people. The networking of the people that such platforms bring together all of us to see that we all work towards the dominance of global south, which even a prime minister talks about a lot of time of global south. And India and Africa, I very strongly believe that we are the future leaders in the globe. So technology and people from my side.
How soon will robotics enter your business?
Oh, they are already entered.
Already there. Okay.
They are already there.
Awesome. Okay. Hiten, any thoughts, closing remarks?
So I think the panel is completely summed up, and if you have to just add one line, technology and collaboration are the ways to go forward, and with that only things will change in leaps and bounds. And it's very important for everybody to stick to basics but keep evolving, and know that if you don't evolve, then you'll perish.
Absolutely. I think point taken. This sector is at the convergence of or intersection between economic growth, policy, technology, and market. And therefore, you need to leverage that strength. Vikram, any final comments from your
Yeah, of course, sir. See, first of all, I would like to say that technology is going to be a very, very key role for everybody's life. And it's not like, if you have observed, before we used to go so many miles to just take the water or something. But now, just on your fingertip, an app came and just you order it in just 2 minutes or 5 minutes, your order get delivered. So be ready for the technological change, and you need to learn what technologies are going to come and adopt in your new or old business, because what we are following is old-fashioned business. And in 10 years or 1 decade, it is going to change. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I conclude this session. Good luck. God bless you all. You can interact with the panelists offline over coffee. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, our first panel discussion, and of course, we got started with such great momentum. I'd like to take the pleasure inviting up on stage Shri Sujit Kumar Parikh. Sir, please do join us. And Shri Ravi Verma. Sir, please do join us. Once again, I invite Shri Sujit Kumar Parikh and Shri Ravi Verma. Sirs, would you please join us on stage? I request Shri Sujit Kumar Parikh and Shri Ravi Verma to felicitate our esteemed panelists on stage for this very productive discussion. Shri Ravi Verma, Chairman of RV Exports, joining us to felicitate the panel. And ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join in with a nice warm round of applause. So here we go. Firstly, let's felicitate our moderator, Shri G. Chandrasekhar. I believe our panelists together have brought in their thoughts and insights, so well constructed and seamed together by Mr. G. Chandrasekhar. Thanks so very much, sir. We will be seeing you a whole lot more on stage. I welcome now Shri Hiten Kataria to step forward and receive his felicitation. And ladies and gentlemen, please do join him with a nice warm round of applause. We've got started great momentum in our first session. Thank you, sir. I'd like to invite Dr. Neil Amritkar, sir, to please step up forward and receive felicitation. Thank you so very much, sir. I'd like to invite Mr. Vikram Sadia, sir, please do step forward and receive your felicitation. Thank you for your insights and inputs, and all the best on that. We'd like to invite Mr. Amit Bansal. Sir, please do step forward. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us. I'd like to invite Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh. Mr. Nuru Namai. Sir, please do step forward. Thank you so very much, sir. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Zeki Demiratsoglu. Thank you so very much, sir. And may I invite the gentleman to kindly step forward for the group photograph. Thank you once again for all the thoughts, opinions, insights. We had a fabulous discussion on technology, warehousing, and logistics. And with that, we conclude our first session for the day. And we head and dive right into our next discussion. I request Mr. G. Chandrasekhar, sir, to please wait back on stage. As we move on to our next panel discussion on agriculture, trading in uncertainty. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's ready ourselves for a panel discussion on agriculture, trading in uncertainty. I now take the pleasure inviting our eminent panelists up on stage. We have an illustrious panel once again, and this panel will be moderated by Mr. Deepak Parikh from Honeybee Tech Incubations Private Limited. Let's welcome Mr. Deepak Parikh up on stage with a nice warm round of applause. Good morning, Mr. Parikh, and looking forward to these discussions. We'd also like to welcome our eminent personalities amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Lalit Bangar, Global Agri Specialist. Welcome, sir. We have Mr. D.N. Pathak from the Soya Bean Processors Association of India, SOPA. Welcome, sir. Mr. G. Chandrasekhar is already here with us on stage. I'd like to welcome Shri G.K. Sood, Agri economist. Sir, thank you so very much for joining us. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Mohammad Mustafa from Morshi. Sir, please do join us. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's have a nice warm round of applause. This is a very illustrious panel, and we are looking forward to gaining a whole lot of knowledge from their expertise, experience, and of course, the enlightenment that they will provide us with on this panel discussion on agriculture, trading in uncertainty. Gentlemen, please do take a seat. And I hand over to our moderator, Mr. Parikh, sir. Please take it forward.
Thank you. So thanks a lot for allowing me to moderate this very important session. And last 1.5 years, especially those who have been engaged in pulses trade, they have seen that uncertainty, right? Yesterday, Mohanty Saab in his beautiful presentation has explained how many notifications came. So one thing is definitely the government policies which create uncertainty. Then we are also having geopolitics, which is playing a very important role nowadays, specifically with the new president in office in US, and we have seen off and on in the morning, we'll ensure everybody will be having 46% tariff. Then in the noon, we might reduce the tariff, and the evening, tariff gets suspended for 60 days. So in geopolitics also, we have seen such type of things happening. Third thing is that we are also seeing a lot of manipulations happening through misinformation. So many of WhatsApp groups are there talking about numbers, talking about anything and everything which can change the market. In fact, I run a very popular group, Know Your Commodity, and I have been for past 4 days. In fact, everybody's talking about unverified information about Teji. So that also, I'm saying that another part is misinformation, and the spreading of misinformation is so easy nowadays with social media, WhatsApp groups. So that's the third area. And fourth area, right, the climate. You'll be surprised to know that actually, like, the events which we call either Black Swan event or what we call Grey Rhino event, which impact global trade, not just in commodity, but in multiple areas, right, has been very frequent now. Span of 19 days, we saw 25 floods happening in Himachal Pradesh, unheard of in the past. So we are also seeing that climate is now actually, like, throwing a lot of challenges for trade as well. So I would start with my guru, Chandrasekhar ji. Sir, in this environment, how do you think, right, traders should react, not react, or a way forward where he can prepare himself, be resilient to such uncertainties, sir?
We have seen the world go through uncertainties since 2020. Started with COVID-19, the whole of 2020, whole of 2021. We had huge amount of dislocation, supply chain dislocation, etc. 22, March 22, the Russia-Ukraine war started. We obviously witnessed massive uncertainty relating to the energy market, relating to agriculture commodities, etc. And in 24, we had a series of events around the Middle East, Israel, Gaza, your Hamas, all that. I can't even recall those names, all that. And as if all this was not enough, came Mr. Donald Trump early this year, and then he started talking about threatening the countries with huge tariffs. So all we have had a series of uncertainties, starting with a huge health issue, then it became a geopolitical and war situation, etc. Now it is trade tariff. This uncertainty has unsettled a lot of corporates, a lot of businesses. We are talking about some WhatsApp groups, and what's happening in Madhya Pradesh is all very micro. I think we should, when we talk of uncertainty, we should, in my view, discuss global uncertainties and how would an individual business entity operate within this uncertain situation. So there are some lessons that we have to learn we have learned over the last 3 or 4 years. One, I believe this uncertainty will continue in some shape or the other. And therefore, countries that are dependent on export will have to not depend on 1 or 2 markets. They need to diversify their markets. Number 2, countries that are dependent on import shall not depend on 1 or 2 sources of supply, but will have to diversify their sources of supply. Third, corporates or companies and business entities that operate in this space must have strong commercial intelligence and research capability. And pardon me saying this, again, pardon me saying this, most large corporates and even large traders and trading houses lack that commercial intelligence and research capability. They have data, but they need to interpret the data in that way. And then comes your question. You have data, but how fake or how genuine is that data? That itself is a big question. The president said we need to separate wheat from the chaff. That is, in my view, art, science, and experience together. And that's the kind of wisdom. That's the kind of wisdom that trading houses need to demonstrate. But people are learning lessons. People will continue to learn lessons. But we cannot wish away. We cannot wish away uncertainty, and it'll continue. And those who are able to read advanced signals, I'm sure will be able to take appropriate risk management measures, and others who are not to read those signals will probably perish. But I have something more to add, but maybe at a later.
No, I totally agree with you, sir. Some of the large corporates and large traders, right, they rely on WhatsApp group and the rumors more in taking trade decision rather than verified intelligence. As a Honeybee and KYC, we work with some of the corporates, and we have been providing that intelligence. Also, like, understanding about how the government policy could evolve and what could be the plan A and B, so they are prepared for that. I'll be surprised to know that actually those corporates, we analyzed the losses which has been in the pulses trade over past 1.5 years. We give a lot of free information also on the, but the corporates or the traders which are not using our service, right? The probability of them losing money was as high as 9. None of them made losses. So this is where it is very important that, like, we need to, like, spend money for intelligence, because you are happy to do speculation losing hundreds of crore, but you are not ready to pay a couple of crore rupees actually when it comes to collecting information. And for example, sir, how many of you have, can you raise your hand that use any sort of projections on supply and demand based on remote sensing? Can you raise your hands? So that tells you, like, right? Majority, they don't even use the technology which is available. Again, we did a good work in sugar sector, sir, and you'll be surprised to know that actually, like, they did pretty well. In fact, Sir would vouch for that. Actually, our number was like, what eventually happened in sugar. We were on that round table also, virtual round table also. We have given that, and we are very correct. And those corporate who use that remote sensing based service from us, they were able to be more protected, I would say. Sood sir, now coming to you only. We know that governments across the world, they are becoming very defensive about, like, their own trade. And started with Mr. Trump, and you'll be having cascading effect, right? China entered the fray, EU got into it, India is also now having its own position. So how do you start actually, like, for someone who have been in the trade and understood government very well for so many decades, how to decipher how the government is gonna be, like, putting up a new policy or changing a policy? How trade can have a look at it? Your views, sir.
Well, there are no doubt unpredictable uncertainties, but I find that there is always a look at a country like India, 145 million, 1.45 billion population. Farmers with handkerchief size fields. Now there is a distress as far as the farmer is concerned, and the elected governments are very sensitive to price rise. So on one hand they have to protect the farmer, on the other the consumer. Most of their policies fit into these two poles, and it is generally possible to foresee what they will do, even if you don't go to the corridors of power to meet them. So he had a huge trade deficit and a huge fiscal deficit. All of it started about 15, 20 years ago. The balance sheet was very healthy earlier. Now, before Trump took over, just 1 year, the global press was full of US going belly up, dollar going nowhere. Now, how do you expect him to sort it out? He's a keen businessman. So attack these two problems, the trade deficit and the fiscal deficit. And so when he has come with tariffs like 50%, 200% and all that, it's quite clear that he's using it as a bargaining chip to shock the world out of their nuts. They have a huge import of about $3.3 trillion. Such a huge market nobody wants to miss. And so the countries are coming around. Yesterday, Japan is happy with 15% tariff. Somebody else is happy with 12.5, 20. This is the kind of level they are settling at. About 3 weeks ago, the secretary was on record saying that they expected about $330 billion in additional revenue from tariffs this year. Translated, it comes to an average of 12.5. And so one may not know his mind where it will settle, but the outlandish tariffs which were announced on the election day of 2nd April, if one read their situation, one would have known that it's a bargaining chip, nothing more. And that's why the extensions and so on. And so these are the two. So Government of India comes from two poles, the consumer and the producer. And and you have this. And well, that was my brief. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sood Saab, very well articulated. I would come to you, Pathak Saab. You have been a young old man now, right? Having seen the industry for so many years. And the best part is that actually you have seen trade from outside being on the trade, right? And that perspective is very important because people like you, me and Chandrasekhar Saab, we are outside the trade, but we see trade very closely. What role do you see for people like you, me and Chandrasekhar Saab, right? Other than coming and speaking in the conferences and writing our blogs and ratification, in educating industry and trying to drive them to be using technology and also taking care of unforeseen risk going forward, sir? Your views?
Firstly, on the uncertainty, I think it's a part of life. It has been there since the kingdom came and since we were born, because there are types of uncertainties. There are natural uncertainty, which we can do anything about. There are government uncertainties, which play havoc with trade, and there are, of course, geopolitics. Now, to deal with uncertainty, I think there are always signs which show before an uncertainty strikes. So let's say the political uncertainty in India or the Indian government's policies, there are always signs which are showing that government is going to go this way or that way. There are the electoral politics, there are voter politics, there are other compulsions, there are geopolitical compulsions like Trump threatening India that if you don't import soybean from us, we will do this. So those uncertainties and these signs are seen much earlier than what happens. Likewise, geopolitical, we know Israel is always boiling, and Gaza and Hamas and Iran threatening and Iraq threatening. A Russian situation we all know. India, Pakistan is also something which is well known. So I am saying there are signs very clear. Natural uncertainty also you could certainly make out. So what I'm saying is, if you look for those signs, which are very clearly indicating that something is in the offing, something will happen, and then a smart person like Deepak Parekh or Chandrasekhar will then analyze those signs and then say, oh, look, this is what I think is going to happen. And normally, 90 times out of 100, that will actually happen. So this is where the roles of people like you and Chandrasekhar Saab comes in, that you predict the uncertainty, how it is going to work. In the government, the biggest havoc player is the government. I think it is so in all the countries. If we look at Trump, then we know that the politics plays havoc. Now, I always keep saying this, and the government has not yet woken up to this, that they should have a real commercial intelligence wing in the government, which should not be manned by IAS officers or the typical government bureaucrat whose job is to do filing. This man or this wing should be manned by people who have a global view of things, of commodities, of business, of production. So if somebody were to make a policy on pulses, he should actually know where the pulses are going short, where they are going long, how the weather is going to affect pulses in Canada, for instance. How Mozambique is not going to grow pulses, or are they going to grow pulses? How the demand in India is going up or going down. Which pulses are more in demand, which are less in demand. So, I mean, somebody who will have this global view, he should be there in the government to advise on policies. And somebody in the government should be wise, should have wisdom enough to listen to this man and not tell him to do it my way. So this is, I think, all governments must do this. The other natural, of course, we all have ready for natural uncertainty. They will be there. Today, we are all flying to Mumbai, but for all you know, the flight may be cancelled, like it happened last year. I am sure we are all prepared for that. We have come prepared that, okay, the flight may be delayed. So we are prepared for those things. As to the people like you, me, and the people who think that we are experts is concerned, I think we can offer advice, but the advice has to be taken by people who need it. It is very unfortunate that the very people who need the advice don't want it. Now, I don't know how to surmount that, but maybe there is a way of, as you said, like in large corporations. Now everybody will be in WhatsApp. So you want to push up a commodity up, you start showing that there is shortage, and then the commodity goes up. Or it goes down, so somebody gives news that the crop has totally failed in Madhya Pradesh and the soybean price goes up. Not believe those kind of rumors. That's an uncertainty which we need to do without. That's my take.
That's a very well articulated, and actually I'll again come back to very pertinent point you raised. So, 12 days back, one of the largest association on pulses, on their social media handles, they put quoting, as per report of Times of India, government will be putting duty on yellow peas. Notification expected soon. I talked to Times of India. I said, I am not able to find any news on your portal. Have you given that news or not? They said, we have not talked about yellow peas for past 1 month. I wrote to the secretary and chairman of that organization, okay, this is misinformation. Would you be kind enough to remove it because it gives wrong signals? And they said, actually, the 4 months ago, but some junior would have posted it now. Right? I said, at least remove it. And they said, sir, ये थोड़ा दिन के अंदर लोग भूल जाएंगे, इसको जाने दो. Right? Then that was bring to the notice of Department of Consumer Affairs. Right? And then they have to, like, sense to those people. Now, this is where please be very careful. Actually, like, see, information everybody wants to pass to their customer, client, their member. IMC today, which is having one agenda which says yellow peas. And since morning, I am getting on some of the group, government will be putting duty today, notification expected. Sir, IGM हुई नहीं, IMC हुई नहीं है, होने वाली है आज. और IMC में क्या होने वाला है, लोग दिखाने लगे हैं, they have started talking about what is going to happen in IMC. So be careful about, like, when you read, you can very smartly, like, understand whether actually, like, what you are reading, right or wrong. Bangar Sahab, you have been someone who has seen those volatility for years. Like, you are having black hairs, but you are having some white beard. So, like, I understand your experience is humongous. Based on your so many years of working in corporation and doing big trades, how a person would take a call going long or short, right, in current environment, should be looking at type of information we are getting, and I would say the deluge of information, right, and getting the grain out of.
Thanks, Deepika. You see, uncertainty is a part of our life, and it is under our control. As Mr. Pathak and Shekharji and Sudh everybody mentioned, that this has to be a part of our life. So, like the Ahmedabad flight starting from Ahmedabad to London crashed just after a few minutes. The 2 days back, Air India flight overshot the runway of Mumbai due to the heavy rains. Just happened a few hours back. So uncertainty is part of our life. We have to manage this. Only thing is that, are we making a self-goal? What happens mostly is that the trade and people tends to blame the government policies or other external factors due to their lack of knowledge or inadequate capability of interpreting the information. As Mr. Chandra also said, that there is data, but whether are you able to interpret? In our corporate life, we have particular cell who really interpret the data. So I don't think so that you can fully overcome the uncertainty, but we'll try to manage the uncertainty at a very reasonable point by having advanced signal, as Mr. Pathak also mentioned. So first of all, we have to work on the fundamentals and not on the greed and the speculative trade. I have always believed that it is a speculative trade which really kills everybody, be it a yellow pea story or any other story. Why the large corporate went for a very long position of hundreds of thousands of tons, and then we always blame the policy. So please always trade in moderation, trade within your control limit, and don't go too much forward trade. Now, you see, in month of April and May, we are trading a new crop of Australian chickpeas, of which nobody knows it. You know what is going to happen? It's like you are distributing your grandson's birthday card when you are not even married. You know. So how is it possible? This is too much of it. You know. So you know that's the one should not go trade long forward. I am always though I am very tall, we may say, but I have always believe that I don't go very long forward. Just 1 or 2 months forward trade is okay. And secondly, the insurance is one sector which people always, I'm coming down to the micro level, like people don't cover their cargoes insured. You'll see most of the C&F trade are not covered by under insurance by the buyers. So this is a very typical feature of our buyers. And then something goes wrong, they say, hey, what happened? My ship has sunk. Also what to do? Thirdly, the exchange rates. The exchange rate are so volatile. You know, we can't control Israel and this war or Trump's statements, but at least which is within our hand, cover your insurance, cover your foreign exchange rate. So these, at least whatever within your limits, at least do that and avoid the speculative trade. My humble request to everybody is that please avoid the speculative trade, work on fundamentals, and believe your eyes and ears rather than external information, or that's you should be able to interpret. That's what from my side.
Perfect. You wanted to say something?
Yes,
please?
pardon me, Deepakji. Ladies and gentlemen, a request for those of you who are having conversations at your tables, can we please keep the volume level down and give our esteemed panel, it's an illustrious panel, all our attention. For those of you who want to have conversations, of course, there is an area outside, but please, can we give them all our undivided attention? Over to you, Deepakji.
One more point I would like to add is that trading beyond capacity. Now, what happens is you got 100 rupees in your pocket or $100 in your pocket, and you are doing trade of thousands of dollars just because we will settle it later on. Either we square off with the buyer or we square with the seller. So please, for God's sake, trade within your capacity, financial capacity, or your mental capacity, or your intelligence capacity. Please do not overtrade. I'm sure the majority of the debacle of happened in yellow peas and everywhere is due to the severe overtrading.
Thank you. No, so actually, and I totally agree, Bangar Saab, it's a human nature, speculation, long, short, and all that. And uncertainty in the mind is also very dangerous. So don't be uncertain in mind and get into the trade, as you rightly said, going unnecessarily speculative. Secondly, also, I'm just promoting one more thing here. Those you have seen the default because of overcapacity and all that. I run in India, I'm executive director of International Arbitration Center, right? You can reach out to me. I would try to solve those challenges, what Bangar Saab just mentioned. Coming to you, Mr. Mohammed, right? We talked a lot about uncertainty, and we know that the world is changing, right? It's changing at the speed of light. Every day new information is coming. Yeah. So your views that, how do you see that actually you yourself, if there are uncertainty in the trade, which I am pretty sure you are sitting on the panel, you'll agree, how we can actually deal with that? And your last comment, sir, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, I guess that as a traders, the uncertainty for us is usually coming for out-of-hand circumstances. Because as a traders, I think we can, as much as we go operative, we can start do trading by barter business. As well, that we need to look for, to defend our business or to extend our business, to take care of the uncertainties in both of them, either defend or extend. And when we are talking about defend, we talk about the farmers and the climate and the source of our products, agriculture products. And we talk about extend, we are talking about the food processing factories, which start with the small factories at home, which is my mom's kitchen. This is also the most, the smaller processing factory. So we need to verify the information, as you said, because when Indian Times publish a news in India, it affects us as well. It's not affecting only India, affecting the sourcing, affecting the logistics. So the information is the most dangerous uncertainty affecting our business. So simply, I think we are on time. Thank you much, and hope we gave you good information and we adding value to your. Thank you.
I totally agree with you. Now, to somewhere we are having the Pitama of industry, right? Sir, those who are sitting here, and please just like intelligence for 5 minutes. You can do trade after 5 minutes, but what Mr. Chandrasekhar will be speaking, right, will ensure that you'll make more money or less. Chandrasekhar Saab, what do you say? Your parting comment on how?
Thank you. Yeah. Fundamentals are important as commodity it's a concern. Okay. And when you talk of fundamentals, what do? You have numbers. You have the opening stock, production, plus import, which will be availability. And then you have plus export, which disappearance. Then you have the closing stock. These are the fundamental numbers. And this is how fundamental analysis is done. Then you look at whether production has gone up or consumption has declined, opening stock is more or less than previous year, etc. All those numbers. But in commodity markets, the market goes well beyond these fundamental numbers. Fundamental numbers are critical, but you need to go beyond fundamental numbers. And there are as many as 6 drivers of these markets which go beyond fundamentals. And therefore, you need to track these 6 drivers, which I'll make them as bullet points. One is economic growth. There's a positive correlation between economic growth and commodity consumption. Many commodities are called growth commodities. Steel, for example, copper, for example, crude oil, cotton, they're all called growth commodities. There's a positive correlation between economic growth and commodity consumption or commodity demand. Track economic growth, and there are leading indicators available. Number 2, geopolitics. Extremely important. You need to learn to read the impact of geopolitics, particularly its impact on crude oil market. And because crude oil is a universal intermediate, it impacts all markets across. And therefore, it impacts even the agriculture commodity market. For track geopolitical developments. Third, monetary policy. Monetary policy has become extraordinarily important in the last 4 or 5 years. Track monetary policy, track interest rates, whether you have a accommodative monetary policy or tight money policy, that will have an impact on commodity prices. Fourth one is currency. Obviously, a no-brainer, a stronger currency, your export will become less competitive, but your imports will be more attractive. If your currency is weak, then your imports will be expensive, but exports will be attractive, etc. Therefore, track currency market, particularly the dollar, and of course the euro and dollar index, which will give you a signal about price changes in the commodity market. Next, fifth is weather. And weather is something which keeps changing all the while. In the last 5 years, we have seen alternating La Nina and El Nino. Okay, and therefore that will have a big impact on agriculture commodity market. And the 6th big ticket influencer or impact on the market is a fund play. You need to track how hedge funds, speculative funds flow into each commodity and how these funds have an exaggerated impact on prices. Therefore, if you were to track these 6 drivers of the market, plus look at the fundamental numbers of demand and supply, you will be able to get a reasonably good outlook of the market. And then you will be able to take a reasonably good trading call. This is important, and that's where commercial intelligence and research capability and a 360-degree view of the global market becomes extraordinarily important. I think I will stop my lecture here. Thank you very much. God bless.
So I think we had a very good discussion, and thanks a lot for all the panelists. I think if we talk about, so we had so many panels. This was most accomplished panel with Sood Saab, Patak Saab, Chandrasekhar ji, Bangar ji, and Mohammad ji, and definitely me, like learning from all these giants. And thanks a lot, in fact, the organizer, to allow me this opportunity to moderate, right, legends of the industry. Thanks a lot. And please, those who were sitting and facing and listening here, and those who are having back and doing the trade, please make a list and find out actually next year who make more money. I can assure you those who are listening will make more money. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get our hands together with a big, huge round of applause. I mean, all the experience that Google can give you we can not compare that to this panel here. In fact, there's so much of experience right here in this panel, such an illustrious panel. We thank you so very much for all the knowledge sharing we've had. And now, I'd like to take the pleasure inviting up on stage Mr. Marco Matunga, the Director General, Tanzania Cotton Board. Let's welcome Mr. Marco Matunga up on stage. I request Mr. Marco Matunga to kindly present felicitations to all our esteemed panelists. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And please do join us, ladies and gentlemen, giving them a nice round of applause. So let's present these felicitations. And here we have it to Sri G.K. Sood. A huge round of applause, friends. To Sri D.N. Pathak, sir, a huge round of applause. We'd also like to invite Mr. Rizwan. Please join us, present felicitations. To Sri G. Chandrasekhar, thank you so very much, sir. To Sri Lalit Bangar, thank you so very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get our hands together. Appreciate the efforts and the enlightenment provided by this panel. To Mr. Muhammad Mustafa, thank you so very much, sir. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much, sir. And finally, to Mr. Deepak Parekh, thank you, sir, for moderating this very illustrious panel. Thank you so much. And with that, I request you, dignitaries, gentlemen, to please step forward for the group photograph, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our panel discussion on agricultural trading in uncertainty. And thank you once again to our esteemed panelists for sharing your thoughts, views, insights, and opinions here with each and every one of us. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Please make yourselves comfortable. I request Mr. Marco Matunga and Mr. G. Chandrasekhar, gentlemen, if you could please wait back on stage. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a panel discussion on cotton. We have present up on stage, joining us right now, Mr. G. Chandrasekhar. He's been here moderating the first panel, participating in the second, and now will be moderating this panel as well. Let's give him a huge round of applause. I mean, if there's a practical example of resilience, that's what we learned from Mr. Chandrasekhar with his vast area of expertise, being able to speak and moderate every single panel here. Thank you so very much, sir. We also have present up on stage the privilege of the presence of Mr. Marco Matunga, Director General, Tanzania Cotton Board. We like to take the pleasure now, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming our esteemed illustrious with a nice warm round of applause from you. Welcome, Mr. Samir Ismail. I'd like to welcome up on stage Mr. Bihari Lal Malpani. Sir, please do join us. A big, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome up on stage Mr. Saleh Nadi, leading development for organic cotton, SM Holding. Once again, let's welcome Mr. Saleh Nadi. I'd like to welcome up on stage Mr. Adam Zuku. Mr. Adam Zuku is from Textile and Garments Manufacturers Association, Tanzania. I'd like to welcome Mr. Adam Zuku and Mr. Sundar Deshmukh, if you are here, sir. Renaissance Agro Marketing Private Limited. And we also have Dr. Kulkarni from the Konkan Agricultural University. Dr. Kulkarni, if you are here, we would like to have the privilege of you joining us for this panel. Once again, Dr. Kulkarni from the Konkan Agricultural Company. Once again, if Dr. Kulkarni is here, or if someone accompanying Dr. Kulkarni, if you could kindly let him know that we would like to have him join our panel. And Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, sir, if you are here, please join us. Mr. Salenadi, welcome. So we do have our panelists here. Over to Mr. G. Chandrasekhar, sir. Please do take this forward.
Thank you. Awesome. Let me start by saying that cotton, I call cotton an industrial crop. It may appear to be contradiction in terms, but it is actually an industrial crop, is number one. And number two, the cotton economy is a composite economy. Cotton is not only fiber, but it is also food, it is also feed, it can become fuel, and it can become fertilizer. That's how cotton economy is a composite economy. Often when we discuss cotton, we look at only the fiber part. But it has multiple applications, multiple uses. And globally, of course, cotton is extraordinarily important. The big players obviously would be China, India, the US, Brazil, etc. And of course, there are also major users of cotton. This is the context in which we'll be discussing the future of cotton. Where are the trading opportunities? Where are the business opportunities between Africa and India? We know India is a large producer of cotton. India used to be, mark my word, used to be a very large exporter of raw cotton. But my own prediction 3 years ago that India will become now a net importer of cotton has come true in 2024-25, very sadly though. India, in my view, will continue export surplus has all but vanished, really speaking. And that creates an opportunity for African origins like Benin, for example, and of course other origins, other countries within Africa that produce cotton to supply cotton to India. I expect India's cotton import, which in 2024 was about approximately 2 million bales, will likely increase by at least 500,000 bales over the next 5 years. That's because India is facing huge challenge as far as cotton acreage and cotton yields are concerned. And there is huge investment that is flowing into the processing industry. The number of spindles that are added every month or every year is enormous, and therefore they can't be kept idle, and therefore India will need a lot of cotton. A part of that cotton obviously can and is coming from Africa, but how do we maximize export of cotton from Africa is something all of us can discuss. Obviously, the US is targeting India, Brazil is targeting India. They're all top producers and exporters, but Africa, how can India and Africa work together in the area of cotton is something we all can discuss. So who do I start with? May I start with you? What are your thoughts? How do we improve? How do we enhance? How do we elevate cotton trade opportunities between Africa and India? Much of India's import is medium staple cotton, and of course to some extent long staple cotton. But on that there is a 10% duty. But for African countries, there is a duty exemption under the LDC category. Whereas extra long staple cotton import is free, duty free. This is the picture as far as India is concerned. So what are your thoughts? What would you advise many of your African countries? How do you maximize your production? How do you improve your quality? How do you maximize your export to India? it's a big thought, but any suggestions that you have, recommendations that you have? You're from the Tanzania Cotton Board. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much, moderator. My name is Malcolm Tunga, the Director General of Tanzania Cotton Board. Well, cotton in Tanzania is a lifeline of more than 600,000 farmers. And out of the 26 regions, 17 regions grow cotton. And so it's an important crop. And annually, cotton rakes in between 120 million US dollars to 350 million dollars. It all depends. If you include internal consumption, you include the value of seeds and cake, also the export, you will have that value. So if you ask me, the catchword, we are living first in a troubled world where you have multiple wars, but also you have oversupply from Brazil and other big countries which produce cotton. The catchword should be you need to enhance productivity. Because if you look today, how the market is, prices are very low. A farmer will only survive if he produces more cotton from 1 acre. And that is what we have been struggling to do at Tanzania Cotton Board. The yield levels, African countries, the yield levels of many African countries, you will be talking about 250 kg of lint per hectare. India is below 500 kg per hectare of lint. But the world average is over 760 kg per hectare. Now you can see the gap where Africa is, and you look at the world average. So there is so much room to improve and to enhance. Once productivity is enhanced, you will find where today we can collaborate with India in the field of technology. You look at machinery. Today, spraying, you can use drones. You can use other machines to simplify the work of spraying. Those areas of technology, there is a big room for India from land preparation to lessen the burden of work in the farm. That is one area. But also, we can collaborate in technology transfer, breeding, for example. I know you are doing BT. We are not doing BT here, but you will have a much rich gem plant where we can tap into and enhance our variety. Those are the areas. But you go to value addition, and India is a big manufacturer. And there is that room for entrepreneurs from India to come to Tanzania and invest in textiles. That room is there. We export over 80% of what we produce. So those are the areas which I think we can really cooperate and have a meaning in our cooperation. The good thing is, if you travel the rural India, you will find similarities with what is happening in Tanzania. And there is so much to learn from India because of generational relationship between India and Tanzania. And we welcome that at any point in time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, point taken. Probably towards the end of our conversation, I will share some thoughts on how Africa and India can work together. But I'll now go to, who do I go to? I think let me go to Saleh Nadi. He is into developing organic cotton, right? Organic cotton is now is becoming increasingly popular. And not only in India but across the world. What exactly, how do you see the market for organic cotton? Do you grow organic cotton or you procure organic cotton, and what do you do with that? And any thoughts on the market outlook next 1, 2, 3 years?
So thank you very much for your question. In Tanzania, we started the organic sector in around 2018. We made a pledge by 2025 that all cotton at SM Holdings would be 100% organic by 2025. And come 2025 now, all our cotton is organic. So we process from the farmers, we procure the organic cotton, we would give them the feeds, we would give them the funds to plant the organic cotton seeds. We'd also teach them. We'd bring agronomists from around the world to also help them in the proper agricultural ways, in how to farm it. Then we would give them the special training on it. And then after that, once we procure it, we'd process it and export it to the organic market. And coming to the organic market worldwide, we've seen that it has grown massively in the past few years. Today, there's an exceptional premium on organic cotton, and we see that the world is more opening to organic cotton and wanting to change into a more sustainable economy. So I would largely recommend that all other jinners in Tanzania start seeing the shift towards organic, to a more sustainable environment, to a more better world in a sort of sense. Because conventional cotton, you don't really see it initially, but it does do damage to the soil, it does do damage to our world, to our environment. And at SM Holdings, we're all about the farmers' socio-economic living standards. We also try to boost that. We also try to help them with these initiatives. And what the government of Tanzania have done, they've started new initiatives on organic cotton, where jinners are given exclusive land where they can help the farmers grow cotton, help them in a way that we haven't seen in the past few years. Now you're talking about the yields growing just because of this organic cotton. We've seen that yields can grow from what Mr. Mtunga said, from 250 kilos. We've seen it grow all the way up to 700, 800 kilos in certain areas where we have implemented organic cotton.
If I heard you correctly, your average yield is 700 kilos.
We have seen some areas grow up to 700, 800 kilos.
Okay, there are some farms.
Yes,
in some farms.
In some farms.
Okay, yeah, all right, I understand. Yeah, correct. Okay, I appreciate. Thank you very much. I'll come to Mr. Dr. Deshmukh. Sir, your thoughts on the future of Indian cotton, given the challenges of falling acreage, falling yield, falling production, and our slowly rising import dependence. What are we doing things right? What we should be doing to once again regain the lost glory? Our peak production was something like 38 million bales. And now currently it's struggling even at 30 or 31 million bales. And yields from the peak of about 500 kilos have actually fallen to 450 kilograms, etc. All that. So any thoughts on how should the Indian cotton sector and policy makers respond to this? and your thoughts on opportunities for collaboration between African.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Sir, you have rightly said that there is a reduction in the area of cotton as well as drastically reduction in the yield of cotton since last 4-5 years. When we introduced the good varieties in India, the yield level has gone very high, but after some years it has drastically reduced, and our production as well has drastically reduced. And as you said that we were exporting cotton, now we may import cotton from other countries, and the countries like Africa will be useful for us for cotton's sake. The basic reason I think is a technical reason. It is again coming to the farmers that it is improvisation of varieties in cotton is a big issue. So year by year we are using the same varieties of cotton for cultivation. Many years back, large area was converted from cotton. It was converted to soybean also. So that was the major reason that the area under cotton was drastically reduced. But now again the area under cotton is increasing because of failure of soybean crops and all this thing. So the varietal improvement is a basic issue that we have to work on this variety. Second reason is that technical intervention to the farmers. Whatever research we are conducting in our lab for say varietal research and all these things, that agriculture extension is not reaching rightly to the farmer level or farm level. That's a huge gap between lab to land. Whatever research we are carrying out in the laboratory, it is not reaching in the right way to the farmers. Nowadays, the advocates of the agriculture is not a agriculture department officer or agriculture officer, but the dealer sitting in that village, dealer sitting in that taluka level, dealer sitting in the district level, he guides the farmer what he has to do. So basically, the farmer should listen from the extension officer or agriculture officer, whatever the government policies are there, whatever. In case of BT cotton, there are certain guidelines to grow BT cotton. So no farmer is applying those guidelines to his field. So he is advised to plant refugee seeds in his field, but he is throwing that refugee seed and planting entire area under cotton. That is why whatever the pest coming to your field, it is directly coming on your cotton crop. And day by day, the crop is becoming also. For example, bollworm pest, the BT cotton crop has become resistant to that pest also. Other pests are also coming on the cotton. So instead of reduction in the cost of cultivation, day by day the cost of cultivation is increasing, and that's why the yield has been staggered at a certain point. Now that is why the crop is going under loss. So these are some technical reasons that why the area is decreasing, why the yield has been decreasing. Thank you.
There are ways to address this challenge. We will come to that a little later. I'll now invite Mr. Malpani to share his thoughts on the future of the cotton sector. I believe he has a presentation. Would you like to show the presentation?
Check one. Test 1, 2.
Yeah, good afternoon. spinner. I have got my spinning units in Tamil Nadu, India, South India. I have taken some data from position and these people who are in the trade. And I am also a consumer, so I am the next slide, please. Global cotton trade dynamics, India's cotton dependency, and emergency importance of African and Brazilian. Because Brazil is the major now, we are receiving from Brazil. So we have to compare with the Brazil and African cotton. You see, day by day, next slide please. You see, our cotton consumption is increasing every year. We can see from the chart. Last year when I was here, I was telling that cotton may not increase, but because of yarn exports and new addition in the spinning mills, it is increasing. In spite of our synthetic fiber also increasing, this also increasing. Next. You see, our yield is 477 kilo only per hectare. Area is, and our, you see, production is 25.7 million bales based on 480 LBS. So, our need will be 2.5 million bales in coming years. It is going to happen because of this consumption and yarn exports. Next, please. You see, these are the African countries from where it is coming. Benin is really good quality, so Benin we prefer. Tanzania still 13.6, Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso quality is good, Benin quality is good, but Tanzania is not up to the mark. We need 29-30 mm, but here quality is only 28, around 28 only. So that's why Tanzanian cotton we can take only where our requirement is coarser counts or medium count, which is, and again same, we need actually 28 to 30 mm, then only it can be used. Next. Yeah, it is less than medium, rather 28 only. 28 only coming to Tanzanian market. And Ivory Coast and those, and even Brazil also up to 29-30. So that's why people prefer for the higher CSP, higher strength yarn, the Brazilian cotton. You see here mic also important role for the CSP purpose in the yarn. Next. Stable. Here you can see 28 to 30 African, and particularly Brazil is still higher. Mic, of course, mic is more in Brazilian cotton, that is a minus point for Brazil. But strength is good, length is good, and uniformity also good. That's why Brazilian cotton, our spinners prefer. Yes, here African Myconair is lower, so but your contamination is here in comparison to Brazil more. So that's why we don't, we prefer where quality is there, export nowadays no contamination they want. So that's why people prefer Brazilian cotton. Next please. I think they one left out. Anyway, this African price-wise, yes, West Africa is 82, fluctuates more. Transportation also is more. Those systems, because of transportation, it is more. But in spite of that, certain people need Brazilian cotton because of the yarn qualities. You see, next, Brazil exports and African exports. African exports slowly going up every year. But you see the range of the Brazil, it is going like anything. So we have to improve here. If you want to go for more exports, then better quality is required. Less contamination and better quality. Next. You see, initially 3 years, your Africa was more than the Brazil. From 2021, it is Brazil is going up. And you can see the difference. Now Brazil may come 1.6 million, while our quantity of African may be 550,000 only. Next. Because of price preference, African still we are taking 55%. But of course it is for local consumption only. We Indian cotton and with African cotton we mix both and use. And Brazilian is 35%, other is 10%. Brazilian because of the CSP we take, but cost is the major reason for African. Yeah, next please. Key challenge, stress and this contamination you have to reduce in Africa. And your ginning standards has to be improved. And you see, branding, yes, of course, branding and traceability will be required day by day in the exports of the yarn also. And this currency volatility. All those things are there. Anyway, next time, next please. BCI. Here, as I told, competitive pricing. That is one major reason for this. And BCI, that is Better Cotton Initiative. That is now is there here. That's why people prefer. And some seasonal complementary is there. That is the reason India prefer this African cotton. Advantage, next please. Consistency in quality. Brazilian cotton benefit, length, uniformity and cleanliness. That is the reason. And fewer contamination. Certification and sustainability is another Brazilian plus point. For value-added yarn consumer has to take the Brazilian cotton. Next please. Indian policy. You see, import duty is generally 11%, but African country, as our sir told also, is 5% only. 5% benefit is there, so maybe 6% only. Brazilian is governed by the WTO only, but Africa is least developed nations. So it goes like that. Next, please. Market demand. You see, India is taking local cotton plus African plus Brazilian. All the three mix and use. Import with the yarn export growth 5.2%, our need will be around 1.8 million. When it is 6%, and up to 2025 we are expecting 7%. So it may be 2.5 million. Our import need will be this year maybe 2.5. Next please. Logistic and infrastructure. Brazil is taking 28 days. West Africa we may receive 18 days. So that is the major reason, one of the major reason West Africa we like. Port handling capacities also another big issue for the this infrastructure is to be created here. Then only things will happen. You see, next please. Benin. When we use the Benin cotton, our yarn waste is reduced. Annual saving is better because of the better productivity in the performance of the meal also. Quality wise, definitely it is better. And further, loom efficiency, which is last ultimate consumers are loom, power loom people only. There only they need very good yarn, so it is improved. So everywhere it is win-win situation. Same way, next please. Brazilian cotton. Yes. Brazilian cotton. You see, initial improvement is there in Brazilian cotton. Because of the Brazilian cotton, CSV also improvement is there. So yarn performance, everything is better than the African. Future outlook. Next, please. You see, African cotton can reach up to 40% of the total import, provided they do that. And Indian import is going to be around 3.6 million this bells by 2030. Definitely it is going to happen because India day by day production is coming down only. Yes, next please. African exports can be USD 8 billion, Indian 3.4 million this bells import. Next please. Opportunities for collaboration. We can have like this joint venture with African technology, upgradation and contamination knowledge. All those things are there which we have to take care. Then only it can be, African can come better way in the India. You see, next please. Strategic recommendations. Invest better in logistic quality. Already we have covered these points generally. But long-term supply and contamination control is the major issues where we have to look into. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I want to compliment Malpani Saab for this very comprehensive presentation. From this presentation, one thing is very clear. While Brazil's quality is superior, Africa has its own advantages. And these advantages, African origins will have to leverage, number one. Number two, Brazilian delegation keeps coming to India from time to time. And I've been a part of these. I visited Brazil 3 times in the last 12 months. The point is they are targeting India in a big way. And they have succeeded. But from Africa's side, I don't remember whether there was any delegation that came to India to sell cotton. I'm not aware though. So think about engaging with Indian importers, Indian textile mills, Indian ginners, etc. This is the second one. Before I say something more, I want to request Mr. Adam Zuku to share his.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good morning, everybody. Oh, good afternoon. My name is Adam Zuku. I represent the Textile and Garment Manufacturers Association of Tanzania. And my interest is the final part of the value chain of the cotton. You've heard that cotton is a composite product ranging from agriculture to industry Okay. Actually, to fashion. My interest here is okay. My main interest and concern here is the value chain process to the point where you have the shirt you are wearing, the trouser, and everything. Now the textile sector in Tanzania naturally started with the introduction of cotton. And the journey starts from the ginning process, which is in the villages. And there we are talking about the farmer. If you want to develop the textile industry here in Tanzania, we must not forget the farmer. Because the production of cotton in this country over the last 30 years goes up and down, depending on the international price. Our price is determined internationally. And sometimes, when the farmers put more effort, the price goes down. And this is discouraging. And we have one area in Tanzania where they grow more cotton, in Mwanza. Long time ago, to solve this problem, the cooperative in Mwanza cooperated with the private sector to build a textile mill. That is, the farmers had the investment in ginning as well as textile manufacturing. Now the situation changed. Now the farmer ends up selling his cotton to the ginnery. Now what happens to the Tanzanian textile industry? The Tanzanian textile industry grew to the peak about 20 years ago, where we had more than 30 textile mills, and we produced more than 450 million square meters. Today, we can produce only about 75 million square meters. The population of Tanzania has grown. In those days, it was 10 million. Today, we are over 60 million. The demand for textile is imported. And here, let me make a point. Today's fashion. And we have the competition for cotton, and that is synthetic fibers. And fashion determines whether you use cotton, whether you use synthetics, whether you blend them. All that is determined by the fashion. But the important thing here in Tanzania, which I think is of interest to you, is that we still need more investment in textile manufacturing. As we have seen the initial presentation and what we have seen here, the cotton production in India, I can easily say that is going down, or is not able to satisfy the growing textile demand in India. India is becoming an industrial country, producing machinery and equipment. Textile is a bit clumsy, and the history of the textile industry, as you know, started in England. As it became less competitive, it went to other countries in Europe, America. For Britain, it ended up in Hong Kong and China. Now, this is the time where the textile industry has to move to Africa for many reasons, as I will explain. Number one, we grow cotton. Okay, we can compete with Brazil. Brazil is competing, and all these factors. But most of the African cotton is medium range, medium staple. Medium staple has the advantage of leveraging short fiber cotton grown in India, grown in China. And I must tell you, I visited about 10 textile mills in the past 20 years in USA. And in blending in the blow room, one line, to my surprise, was cotton from Tanzania. because of this mid-range staple. So for quality, Tanzanian cotton is very important. What I want to stress here is that Tanzania has a demand for textiles. We have cotton. Price setting, farmers are not very happy. And as my brother has explained, cotton is growing in 17 regions. And that cotton economy supports over 20 million Tanzanians. So cotton growth must be sustained. And the only way to do that is to involve the farmer in the cotton value chain. Farmers must have shares in the ginning, they must have shares in the spinning, weaving and processing. That way, their incomes as farmers will be increased. So my appeal to investors from India is to come and join Tanzanians, particularly cooperative unions, to ensure that cotton will be available and the farmers will have a stabilized price dependency, because naturally we can have a fixed price for local manufacturers, which does not international price. And this will be a very good incentive to encourage.
I don't want to go into the details of how it can be done, but I have some thoughts and I've shared with Indian policymakers and the Indian industry. But you need to come to India. Like Brazil is seen in India. African origins like Benin and Ivory Coast and others, Mali, will have to be seen in India. I think all these producing countries can come together, form a consortium, and come to India and try, and then convince Indian importers about your product, your quality, your prices, and your commitment to enter into partnership with India. I think I get very strong signals now. I have no choice but to conclude this event. I want to thank each one of my panelists for sharing their thoughts. There are big opportunities between India and African countries in cotton. There can be no two opinions about it, but this potential needs to be leveraged, and how to leverage is something which African producers will have to start looking at and start to engage with India. To be very frank, India has options. India will import from Brazil. India will import from the US. India will import from other origins like Egypt, for example. But Africa needs to export more, or Africa needs to utilize that cotton domestically through value addition, and which is where you need investment, which is where you need machinery, etc. I think that is the opportunity which we have identified. Now, with this, I want to thank all my panelists and conclude this session. Good luck. God, thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for this absolutely illustrious panel discussion on cotton. I'd like to take the pleasure inviting up on stage Mr. Nassim K. Alian. Sir, please join us. He is from the IFC, the International Finance Cooperation. And before handing over mementos for his panelists, I would request Mr. Nassim to kindly address us with investment opportunities in Africa. Sir.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Nassim. I am an investment officer. I cover investment in the agribusiness sector in Africa. So in Africa, we have a team of 40 people distributed in 10 countries, dedicated only to investment in the agribusiness sector. Last fiscal year, we have invested nearly 800 million USD, and we like to say that we cover all the agribusiness sector, which goes from agriculture to food processing to commodity traders. In Tanzania, we have an office that is growing. So 2 years ago, we were 3 people. Now we are 30 people covering all sectors beyond agribusiness from Tanzania. So we are happy to explore investment opportunities with companies active in the agribusiness sector, and we are here to discuss, and we are here to finance companies looking to create more added value in the country. So thanks a lot for hosting me, and it's a pleasure being here, and it's a pleasure discussing with the different participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd also like to invite Mr. Gujar Rajesh Patil from MPIDC, Madhya Pradesh Industrial Development Corporation Limited. Welcome, sir. And now presenting felicitations, ladies and gentlemen. A huge round of applause to Mr. Adam Zuku. Thank you so very much, sir. Please join in with a nice warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. To Mr. Marco Matunga. Thank you so very much, sir. To Mr. Bihari Lal Malpani. Thank you very much, sir. To Mr. Saleh Nadi. Thank you very much. To Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh. Thank you very much, sir. And finally, for an absolutely fantabulous session, once again, to Mr. G. Chandrasekhar. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chandrasekhar has been up on stage since 10:30, moderating all our sessions, and we'd like to express our gratitude. Thank you so very much. I invite all our esteemed panelists to kindly join us in front of the stage for the photograph. And I'd request Chandrasekhar, sir, Mr. G. Chandrasekhar, to present a felicitation to Mr. Rajesh Patil, who's coming all the way from the Madhya Pradesh Industrial Development Cooperation here. Thank you so very much for joining us today. And also to Mr. Nasim Alian. Thank you, Mr. Nasim, from the International Finance Cooperation, joining us here today. Thank you so very much, sir, for your presence. I invite our esteemed panelists to come forward for the group photograph. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delayed lunch, but we would like to inform you that we have the two most awaited panel discussions after lunch today, especially a panel discussion on pigeon peas, which I'm sure every single one of you would like frontline seats for. So we wish you all a nice, sumptuous lunch. Bon appetit, ladies and gentlemen. But we request you all to kindly be back in this hall by 2:20 p.m. Once again, apologize for the very short lunch break, but we request you to kindly be back in this hall by 2:20 p.m. as we have a panel discussion on Kaju, after which we have the most awaited panel discussion on pigeon peas. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your lunch. Bon appetit, and see you back in this room at 2:20 p.m.